What can blogging accomplish in a language classroom? English language teachers typically divide curriculum into 4 skill areas: speaking, writing, listening, and reading. And then there are the language structures within which these skills operate. Many teachers are still isolating the skill and language areas where skills are assessed individually by pen and paper tasks. But wait a minute, language isn't used in isolated skill areas, it's contextual. Let me introduce J.R. Firth, who was thinking and writing about language in the 1950s. He was interested in context. Firth's view is that language is interaction, it is interpersonal activity and has clear relationship with society. In this light, language study has to look at the use of language in context, both its linguistic context and its social or situational context. Current thinking in language education now focuses on the task-based approach, connecting curriculum to the world outside the classroom through authentic tasks. Within a social constructivist framework, the essential role of education is to facilitate construction of knowledge through experiential, contextual, and social methods in real-world environments, reproducing the key aspects of a community of practice. Being a foreign student can be an isolating experience. Young adults away from home, often for the first time, separated from their social groups with whom they have an established identity, now in a multicultural environment where they are linguistically challenged and socially stretched. I need to create a sense of community that will transcend my classroom and allow young adult learners to find their voices and meaningfully participate inside and outside the classroom. I can't do that through pen and paper tasks. I want my students to build new social networks, so in my classroom I need to provide learning opportunities that allow them to see the work of their peers in ways that combine skill and language work and also lend authenticity to what they're doing so that they can see that their victories and struggles are part of a shared experience. My theory is that when we can reduce feelings of isolation by embedding in our lessons places where learners can relate who they are to the course material, this gives rise to voice, which allows them to risk and can open them up to possibility. Working in collaborative ways breaks down feelings of isolation and builds trust among a community of learners. Now we have creativity, ingenuity, and exploration. A student in my class, a 20-year-old male from Hong Kong, comes across as withdrawn, fights authority, comes to class late, always listening to music. He has one friend in the class, but chooses to isolate himself from the others and from being part of a wider learning community. I don't want to ignore him. I want to engage him. I need to connect what we're doing in the curriculum to their lived experiences. I pull universal themes from the short stories we read and relate these themes to real life, ask them to see connections between these themes and their own lived experiences, ask them to think critically about who they are, where they come from, and what they know in order to connect that knowledge to curricular material. Mark seems interested. Maybe nobody's asked him about his experiences before. Back to Hung and Duchani, who talked about real-world environments. I wonder, can those environments be ones that live in digital places? We've been studying literature through short stories. Literature is a reflection of the culture that produces it, and so is music. This is my in. What is Mark listening to? How does it inform his ideas? And how does it reflect who he is? The blog task is to answer the question, how is music a reflection of the culture that produces it? Not only Mark, but the whole class find their voice and express with passion their musical interests. They comment extensively on their classmates' threads. Mark's thread showed depth and honesty and had a sense of purpose to the communication, beyond it just being another assignment. He and I continue a dialogue about music before and after class, sharing band names. He leaves class yesterday and upon filing out doesn't say anything, but gives me a smile and 2 thumbs up. I'm thrilled. Principled use of technology can not only enhance language learning, but also the student's sense of agency, identity, self-confidence, and motivation, as these in turn contribute to the development of language proficiency. So how can I continue to go from this to this? The next blog assignment seeks to connect an academic reading on immigration and a lecture on multiculturalism to their own experiences. CBC has a documentary about 4 immigrants who are asked to take a picture of something that represents their experience as newcomers to Canada. I ask students to watch, then post which story resonates with them, and then post and explain their own image. There is no deadline given for this blog post, but all students have posted and commented within 24 hours. clear evidence of a desire to communicate, as Galloway notes. There's more. What Mark posts is profound. There's a vulnerability in his post that he is willing to share. He details a rough life in Hong Kong, a move to Canada where he felt very alone, a turning point about who he wants to be in this world which culminated in the tattoo he got and has chosen as his image to share. His writing is very moving, and he finishes with this. Creating inclusive spaces for learners to explore their potential is what teaching is. Blogging allows me to assess critical thinking skills, grammatical range and accuracy, lexical resource, appropriacy and tone, as well as coherence and cohesion in writing, all in one place. I'm just beginning to realize what blogging allows my students to achieve.